Hello, class. Today, for reading, we are going to, well, you are going to watch me read yet another book. I'm going to read Come On Rain again. Fantastic read. I enjoy it so much that I want to read it to you again. But I'm going to model all six of the reading comprehension slash inference traits or inference skills that we've been talking about over the last 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. And if you remember, it is retelling and summarizing. And remember, a summary is just a quick, a quick retell, or a retell and a summary. That's just a quick explanation of what it was about. You put a few details in there, and boom, you're telling me what it was about. The main idea is shorter than a summary. It's usually maybe a sentence. Visualize. Good readers visualize while they read. So in your mind, remember, it's a movie in your mind. A movie playing nonstop. And that's one of the beauties of reading, is you can read, and as you read, you just, all these beautiful pictures conjured up in your brain of what you're reading. The written word bringing the mind movie to life. A good reader asks questions. So, why is the character doing this? What is the character doing? What are they doing? And remember, making predictions is also an aspect of asking questions. It's a question in a statement form. I think that, come on, Rain. If I hadn't read it before, I'd be like, I think that this lady's going to get downpoured on. Make a prediction about what you're going to read. One of the other inference skills is connections. That is you, the reader, making connections to yourself. You're making connections to another text. You're making connections to the real world. You remember our graphic, and I will have this. I'm going to use bulletin board, but it's going to actually be more of a slideshow for you guys. It's going to be a slideshow of all of the different icons we've used. Remember, for connections, it was the outlet with 4 sockets, and the book you're reading is plugged into one of the sockets. And then the one socket was the person, you, and then another text, and then the world. So the reader makes connections. And then the last one we talked about yesterday, synthesize. You are reading all of these books, or you're reading a book, you're putting all of this information together, and you come up with a new thought. And remember, I likened it to baking a cake. The book is the powder, or your brain is the powder for the cake mix, and the book is adding the egg and the oil and the milk or the water, and you're stirring it all up, thinking about the reading, and boof, you've got a finished product, the cake. So, remember, retell and summarize. Tell us what it was about. Main idea. Well, what was it mostly about? Visualize. Remember, mind movie. Remember, I had my, here, let me use this visual for visualize. Oh yeah, I can think about it now. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to model all those skills as I read Come On Rain by Karen Hess, and pictures by John J. Muth. Muth, M-U-T-H. I'm going to say Muth. Come on, Rain, I say, squinting into the endless heat. Mama lifts a listless vine and sighs. 3 weeks and not a drop, she says, sagging over her parched plants. Well, I'm going to go and summarize real quick what I just read. It must be and I'm going to make a prediction. Must be hot. They want rain. And in my head, I can visualize hot, dry dirt that hasn't had rain in a while. And why are they outside in this heat? The sound of a heavy truck rumbles past. Uneasy, Mama looks over to me. Is that thunder, Tessie? She asks. Mama hates thunder. I climb up the steps for a better look. It's just a truck, Mama, I say. I'm going to stop right there, and I'm going to use my thinking voice. Why do you think she hates thunder? I wonder why she hates thunder. I wonder was she scared of it when she was a kid? Or, I'm making connections now because my daughter is scared of thunder. I mean, she's 2, but, if she hears thunder, she's like, oh, Dad. So did this older lady have a traumatic experience with it, I wonder? That's making connections to the real world. I'm sizzling like a hot potato. Visualizing somebody very hot right there. I ask Mama, may I put on my bathing suit? Absolutely not, Mama says, frowning under her straw hat. You'll burn all day out in this sun. Make connections there. I get hot. I get sunburned really easily, so I can relate to that. Up and down the block, cats pant. Heat wavers off tar patches in the broiling alleyway. Ms. Grace and Miss Vera bend, tending beds of drooping lupines. Not a sign of my friends Liz or Rosemary. Not a peep from my pal Jackie Joyce. I stare out over the rooftops, past chimneys, into the way-off distance. And that's when I see it coming. Clouds rolling in, gray clouds bunched and bulging under a purple sky. A creeper of hope circles round my bones. Come on, rain, I whisper. Okay, so asking questions. Wonder how long it's been 3 weeks since they've had rain. Why? Where do they live? What's going on there? And I'm visualizing the words. I stare out over the rooftops, past chimneys, into the way-off distance. That's a good visual for the mind movie. It makes me think of a crowded city like New York up on the rooftops looking out over, like Batman. Quietly, while Mama weeds, I cross the crackling dry path past Miss Glick's window, glancing inside as I hurry by. Miss Glick's needle sticks on her phonograph, playing the same notes over and over in the dim, stuffy cave of her room. That makes me think of my record player. Now I ask my question. I wonder what she's listening to. The smell of hot tar and garbage bullies the air as I climb the steps to Jackie Joyce's porch. Jackie Joyce, I breathe, pressing my nose against her screen. Jackie Joyce comes to the door. Her long legs, like 2 brown string beans, sprout from her shorts. It's going to rain, I whisper. Put on your suit and come straight over. Why is she whispering? See, I'm asking questions. Why is she whispering? What's going on? And these are just, I'm saying them out loud, but these would be normally just quick thoughts I had in my head, like, why is she whispering? And for visualization, the smell of hot tar and garbage bullies the air. I just visualize that, and the hot tar. Slick with sweat, I run back home and slip up the steps past Mama. She is nearly senseless in the sizzling heat, kneeling over the hot rump of a melon. Watermelon. In the kitchen, I pour iced tea to the top of a tall glass. I aim a spoonful of sugar into my mouth, then a second into the drink. Have you ever had a spoonful of just sugar? Ooh, that'd be sweet. I don't think I've ever done that before. Got you some tea, Mama, I say, pulling her inside the house. Mama sinks onto a kitchen chair and sweeps off her hat. Sweat trickles down her neck and wets the front of her dress and under her arms. Mama presses the ice-chilled glass against her skin. Aren't you something, Tessie, she says. I nod, smartly. Rain's coming, Mama, I say. Mama turns to the window and sniffs. It's about time, she murmurs. I'm going to draw a real-world connection there as I visualize and kind of ask questions. First, I'm like, why is she sniffing? Then I stop and go, oh, yeah, there's a bit of a smell in the air when it rains. Have you ever noticed that before? I like to act like I'm cool and back. It's going to rain as I smell it. Jackie Joyce, in her bathing suit, knocks at the door, and I let her in. Jackie Joyce has her suit on, Mama, I say. May I wear mine too? I hold my breath, waiting. A breeze blows the thin curtains into the kitchen, then sucks them back against the screen again. Is there thunder? Mama asks. No thunder, I say. Is there lightning? Mama asks. No lightning, Jackie Joyce says. You stay where I can find you, Mama says. We will, I say. Go on then, Mama says, lifting the glass to her lips to take a sip. Come on, Rain! I cheer, peeling out of my clothes and into my suit while Jackie Joyce runs to get Liz and Rosemary. We meet in the alleyway. All the insects have gone still. Trees sway under a swollen sky. The wind grows bold and bolder. And just like that, rain comes. Make a real world connection there. Or a real world and a self to text connection. Because I've been outside when it started raining and started pouring like that. And I've also, seen it looking out of a window. And I can visualize that moment. The first drops plop down big, making dust dance all around us. Then a deeper gray descends and the air cools and the clouds burst, and suddenly rain is everywhere. Come on, rain, we shout. It streams through our hair and down our backs. It freckles our feet, glazes our toes, and we turn in circles. Glistening in our rain skin, our mouths wide, we gulp down rain. So I just stop and think, visualize just the hot weather, how hot it must be and how good it must feel for that cool rain to roll down your back and down your skin and So let's stop and summarize up to this point. This girl has been wanting it to, there hasn't been any rain in a while, for 3 weeks. She feels rain coming on. She wants to play out in it with her friends and wear her swimsuit. So she kind of butters her mom up to let her do it, kind of tricks her mom in a way. And then it rains, and it feels good. Jackie Joyce chases Rosemary, who chases Liz, who chases me. Wet slicking our arms and legs, we splash up the block, squealing and whooping in the streaming rain. I was picturing a downpour in my movie mind. We make such a racket, Miss Glick rushes out on her porch, Miss Grace and Miss Vera come next, and then comes Mama. They run from their kitchens and skid to a stop. Leaning over their rails, they turn to each other. A smile spreads from porch to porch, and with a wordless nod. Why are they smiling? First one, then all. Fling off their shoes, skin off their hose, tossing streamers of stockings over their shoulders, our bare-legged mamas dance down the steps and join us in the fresh, clean rain. While the music from Miss Glick's phonograph shimmies and sparkles and streaks like night lightning. She just left her phonograph playing that whole time? She hasn't stopped it? That must be a long record. Jackie Joyce, Liz, Rosemary, and I, we grab the hands of our mamas. We twirl and sway them, tromping through puddles, romping and reeling in the moisty green air. We swing our wet and wild-haired mamas till we're all laughing under trinkets of silver rain. Are they just going to stay out there the whole time? Like, what's going on here? I hug Mama hard, and she hugs me back. The rain has made us new. That's a good thinking voice question. What does it mean by it's made us new? That's something to add to the cake mix. What does that mean? It's made us new. As the clouds move off, I trace the drips on Mama's face. Everywhere, everyone, everything is misty limbs, springing back to life. We sure did get a soaking, Mama, I say, and we head home, purely soothed, fresh as dew, turning toward the first sweet rays of the sun. So, I'm going to what does it mean by we're new? They were new. I'm going to let that kind of marinate for a second, and I'm going to do a retell of that book, the whole book. And remember, retell isn't a word-for-word telling of what happened, but just a quick idea of what the book was about, using some details. And so this book, there had been 3 weeks without rain. The little girl felt the rainstorm coming on, so she tricked her mama into letting her go out in her swimsuit and hang out with her friends and play out in the rain. Then her mama joined her, and everybody was cooled down and happy for finally getting a storm. The main idea of this story might be a little harder to think about. What is the main idea of Come On Rain? Remember, main idea is just a short, maybe one sentence, two sentence, like a summary, but not as many details put in there. So what can I say about this book? That is the main idea. Well, if it was me and I was going to say the main idea, I'd say it was hot and these people wanted rain so bad, and when it finally rained, they relished in it and they soaked up all the joy of water. Which leads me to my synthesis. So I've been sitting there thinking about this book and the questions I've been asking, like, what? Oh, it's been 3 weeks since it's rained. Where do they live? They go out and play in the rain. Why do they feel new? What about it made them feel new? And I stop and I think, oh, there's plants. Like plants need water to thrive, and so do people. So it's much like watering a house plant to bring a house plant or keep a house plant alive. These people in this place got water, and everyone was back to life. It made them like new. It also made me think about how miserable it is to be hot and sweaty and just sitting in the sticky heat, like, ugh. So you are out there in that dustiness and nastiness and feeling that heat. And, if I was going to think about it, make a synthesis, I would assume that this book takes place before, like, the time period is probably not modern day, because a lot of us have air conditioning. And it's something we kind of take for granted, especially in that situation. Because on a hot day like that, well, let's go sit in the AC and chill out. I've known a few people that still don't have air conditioning in their house, and they talk about how hot and miserable it is compared to me who has an AC in their house. So another synthesis I have is how lucky we are to have air conditioning, to live in a time where we can turn on something that makes us cold again, when all these people could do was sip on ice cold tea with sugar and hope it rains and go play out in the rain in their swimsuit, because they probably didn't have public pools a lot or close. So, there you go, class. That's me showing you all 6 of those inference skills in one book. Those are all thoughts that I had just reading that one pretty short book. And these are all thoughts that I want you to start being aware of, and we're going to start focusing on as we read literature, as we read fiction, nonfiction, magazine articles, poetry, whatever we are reading. We're applying these skills of inference to what we're reading. It's universal. It goes with everything. So remember, it's retell and summarize, visualize, main idea, make connections, ask questions, synthesize. And we're going to be coming back to these different ideas throughout the whole rest of the semester, this whole school year, and apply them to what it is we are reading. All right. Please make sure to follow your instructions for the assignment related to this. Royans, out.